The way I was able to get that smooth cinematic B-roll you saw just now was by doing just 3 things, which I'm going to walk you through right now. Those 3 things are fast match cuts, dynamic camera movement, and perhaps the strangest of them all, focus racking, which I'll go more in depth on later. But first, an important announcement. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to make sure you do actually happens in the editing room. In order to keep your B-roll looking cinematic, you have to make sure that your editing matches with your music choice. And I can't stress this enough. Please, please always choose your music track before you start editing. If you start editing beforehand, either you're going to end up re-editing it anyways, or your video is just not going to be very good because the music doesn't match. You might have noticed that I like to keep my cuts fast, but not just any cut. Here's one clip of eggs being whisked. Rather than speeding it up or skipping over the entire whisking process, I just made one singular cut. The fork comes over, camera following the movement, and as soon as it touches the eggs, we already cut to the end of the clip, where the eggs are mixed. This creates energy, because by doing this, not only have I skipped an unnecessary amount of footage, but I have just made you pay closer attention to the video. By match cutting to another frame to jump forwards in time, I'm essentially telling you, hey, keep watching this. Pay attention to this video because I'm not going to waste your time by showing something you already expect to see. The next thing I want to talk about is camera movement. Camera movement is key to keeping the viewer engaged.
Run!
Nothing much more to say here other than just keep the camera moving. And I don't mean handheld like you see in action movies where the camera's shaking all over the place and you can barely see anything. It has to be intentional movement, smooth and with a purpose. So yeah, intentional camera movement is key. But now the third and final thing you're going to want to make sure you do when shooting B-roll is to use a shallow depth of field to your advantage. You're in a way revealing something, which gives the shot more meaning. But how do you land perfectly on an in-focus object while you're shooting at, say, f1.2? Well, you don't really. I mean, you definitely could. It would just take a lot more takes to get right, and there's not always enough time for that. So we cheat the shot. Start with the object in frame and in focus the exact way you want the end of the shot to be, and then do the opposite of what you want the shot to look like. So in my case, since I wanted to have the camera push into focus on the timer as it was set down, instead I just shot the timer being picked up as I pulled the camera backwards. Then in your editing program of choice, just reverse the shot and you have a perfect focus rack. And that's pretty much it. One last tip I'll give you is to use speed ramps when the situation allows it. If you add a sub drop sound effect right when you ramp from fast to slow, you can really exaggerate the moment like this. That's it for today, and as always, click here to keep watching.